Welcome to America's Mayor Live, and welcome to me. Judge Howell didn't put me in jail. She wanted to. She mentioned it as one of her last things. She's looking forward to it, but she didn't get a chance to do it. She did do some things that were so outrageous, she really should be thrown off the bench. We'll get to that in a little while. I want you to look at some people that don't like each other. Just take a look at that, Ted. Show them that. Show them what we want to show them here. These people don't like each other. Would you say that's right?
I would say that.
Particularly the two women. They look at the look on her face. Whoa. And she wasn't even drinking. And look at her. Well, we don't know about that. We don't know if that's a look or if he even knows where he is. But now I want to show you some people who like each other. See, those are two normal human beings. Well, there's one normal human being, at least. Huh? Look. Man, what a difference between winning and losing, huh? Look at these faces. Look at him. Look at her. Oh my goodness. And how about this? How about this? Although I don't see President Trump looking firmly at the guy who could have given all those votes back to the states and avoided Ukraine being invaded. Well, we are back, and we're back. How far are we from the inauguration now? Well, we're actually about where we're sitting right now. We're actually about 6 miles from the inauguration, 8 miles maybe. About 8 miles to Capitol Hill from here. Not even, huh? Really?
So we've got our, sorry.
What do we have on?
Well, we're gonna have Leo very soon coming to us live
Okay.
from location in California.
Mm-hmm.
So we're that now, and of course, some big updates on the fires in California. Sorry, we're getting this link over, folks. Live streaming here, so this is happening in real time. Where of course, Governor Gavin Newsom has now ordered an inquiry into some of these water issues.
How about him? Is he going to order an inquiry into him?
Yeah, where does it? I mean, at what point does he take responsibility for his own actions?
Has he ever? Has he ever?
I mean, think back to COVID, and I just think he figures he can get away with it after surviving it.
Did he go to that same restaurant tonight? What was that restaurant? The French Laundry. That's when nobody else could go but him, right?
It looked like it took him probably an hour or so to get ready, given like
It's somewhere between 3 and 4 miles to the Capitol from here. 3 and 4 miles.
We are coming to you live.
We are coming to you live from Roslyn,
Virginia,
right across the bridge from
which
Georgetown.
which is part of a free state. It is not part of the Democrat a dictatorship of Washington, D.C., which is exceedingly dangerous and has become a really bad place under a Democrat mayor, like the one in Los Angeles that doesn't know how to fill fire hydrants. I wonder if there's a connection. Jimmy Carter funeral today was appropriate and very solemn, right? The funeral was quite solemn. Yesterday, rather, it was very, very solemn, and a complicated figure because he was a nice man and a good man and a terrible president and ex-president. And I would say, if not an anti-Semite, he gave a good imitation of being an anti-Semite by his fierce hatred of Israel. It was beyond the usual. the usual political opposition, real bitterness, and also embracing some of the terrorists, which was also kind of sad. So President Trump has hinted or laid out what he might do on the first day, or maybe his first group of executive actions. He's going to stop migrant flights from the southern border region to other parts of the United States. So they're not going to be taking people that come in and sending them all over the United States and filling up Aurora, Colorado, with a group of Diaragua so they can kill and rape people. What he's going to do instead is put them in detention. So they're not going to be running around. They're not going to be running around Texas either. They're going to be running around a detention facility, which is where they belong. Should cut down quickly on the number of murders, rapes. 60% of the crime in Queens is caused by illegal aliens. So this should have a big effect. He's going to shut down completely the acceptance of asylum applications in the CBP-1 app. Now, what is that? That's an app that Biden created to cut down on illegal immigration, and it's led to about 2 to 3 million of them. You can apply and come in, and if you do, they basically just assume you're legitimately seeking asylum because you applied. You realize how many extra illegals that brought in? So he's going to do away with that day one. That's only there because Biden signed it. We don't know if he knew he signed it, but he did sign it. And it's been going on for about 2 years. He's going to bar U.S.-born children of illegal immigrants from automatically receiving American citizenship. That's an interesting one because it depends on your interpretation of the Constitution. And there is an interpretation that just being born here is not enough. You have to be here under color of law. Well, is it illegal here under color of law? The assumption has always been very, very blithely, they'll say, well, if you were born here, you're a citizen. If you take a good look at that amendment in the Constitution, which was intended actually to make certain that blacks were all citizens, because they were natural born. Remember, by that time, all the blacks in America were natural born, so people couldn't deny them citizenship. But they were also here under color of law. So can the child of an illegitimate person be a citizen? We'll see. It's going to be an interesting battle. It'll cut down on a lot of additional illegal aliens. He is going to pardon the defendants arrested or convicted in connection with the January 6, 2021 Capitol Hill riot, meaning many of the people persecuted by Judge Beryl Howell and her merry men and women who disgraced the United States judiciary in the way this was handled. And the caving in of the entire judiciary of the District of Columbia is frightening.
Sorry, Mayor. I know I don't mean to shift focus on you, but we have Leo live on the line. His area is preparing to actually be evacuated.
Okay, let's
go to Leo. Leo, we're coming to you now, and we'll see how the audio is without putting.
There we go.
Leo, oh, you got us. There we go.
good. I'm going to move
All
it
right,
over
can
here
you guys
so
hear me okay?
I can see him better.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we see you really well, Leo.
All right, great. Excellent, excellent. So I'm here at the south end of the Sepulveda Pass. This is actually right by where I live, and we are now in the the prepared to evacuate zone. So right now, the fires are burning behind me. As you can see, there is the Getty Center behind me there, and that is that a big building they're going to be very concerned about. As I pan over here, you can see the smoke. It's getting darker. The winds have shifted now. They're coming out
Where
of
are we
the.
looking now? Where are we looking now, Leo?
Go back
So
to
we're
the
in the
Getty. He
Sepulveda-
wants to follow with
Yeah.
us. That's the 405.
Okay,
So
there's
this
the
is the 405.
405.
That's the
And is
405.
that
That's
heading?
the Getty Center. And we
When you're
are,
pointing now, are you pointing north?
no, this is to the south. So the ocean's out over
You're
there.
pointing south. Okay, so now
Yeah,
we're
I'm pointing
oriented.
south right now in just the south end here of the Sepulveda Pass, and we have the 405 down here. You can see the smoke is now shifting over. The winds are coming out of the northwest, so they're blowing to the southeast, which is now towards the Getty Center, towards where I live, and they now have a prepare to evacuate order in place in Bel Air on the east side of the freeway. You can see the smoke rising above here, the dark smoke. It's about a mile to a mile and a half away from us right now. In the last few minutes, we've noticed the smoke go from this lighter color over here to this darker color, which can only mean one thing, that it has got a lot more fuel behind it right now. And that is something that we're very concerned about. You can see the orange glow from the fires and the sunset there, peeking up over the hills there.
Those are fires on the other side of the. Would that be a mountain or a hill? What would we call that?
Now, I mean, it's part of the Santa Monica Mountains here in the Sepulveda Pass.
Yeah, right.
So yeah,
The
but you can
foothills.
see that's what's what's happening right now. So it's getting close, and I think from what I last heard is they're only at maybe 8% containment, but that's
Really,
subject to
only
change.
8%
8%, yeah.
after all this time.
Well, they don't have the water in the fire hydrants. So last night, before I came on with you, Mayor, I saw water trucks driving on Sunset Boulevard to bring it to the firefighters to help combat the blaze. But where I was, it was already done and dusted. It was all destroyed. We were there on that cliffside by those burned out homes, overlooking more burned out homes going all the way down to PCH. And but the reason that this fire is so exacerbated is because we have all this kindling here. This dry brush. This is the kind of stuff
I see
that,
that. It looks. You can tell. You can tell from just the picture you're showing us that it is exceedingly dry.
yeah.
It looks.
So
It almost looks like straw.
yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that really takes fire. And then you have these sage bushes here, and these sage bushes, they are full of natural oils that also are very flammable and combustible. But just a heads up, so this area here across the freeway burned several years ago during the Getty fire. And where I'm currently standing right now caught on fire about 7 years ago. And two homes were lost about 600 yards, not even hard, excuse me, 600 feet down the road from where I'm currently at right now. And right now you can see Mountain Gate, the community over there. It's getting a lot closer to the Mountain Gate community. They had a devastating fire when that Getty fire took place. Um, there have been quite a few fires here in my lifetime, and
And right below you is 405.
it's the world famous 405.
It doesn't seem as crowded today as it was yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of folks right now they are home or they are evacuated. A lot of people are shutting their businesses down early. They don't want to be out and about. So traffic has been less. I actually just came back up here from Orange County. I was down there with Tom Homan earlier today, and also Sheriff Barnes of Orange County. And we were talking a little bit about how there could be terrorists that are coming into this country from the border illegally that are contributing to starting these arson fires. We know for a fact that two of the fires have been confirmed arson. The one out in Woodland Hills, Hidden Hills area was confirmed. That was the West Hills, excuse me. That fire over there was 100% confirmed arson. So that is a big issue that we're facing here. Then we've also got video proof of people starting fires in Santa Monica. And I mentioned those gas tanks that people were throwing on the side of the road yesterday, Mr. Mayor. And that was in the West Hills. That's where that fire was.
Wow. Where are you? Where are you in reference to Beverly Hills?
So we are about 5 miles from Beverly Hills, right over
Which
here.
direction is that? Where would that be? I'm trying to look at my map
So
here.
Beverly Hills is east of where I'm currently standing. We're the way the camera's pointing, and my back is to the west, it's southwest right now.
Your back is to the okay. Your back is to the west. I can see. All right, I got it now.
So,
And you're above Santa Monica.
yeah. Santa Monica is over the hill that way. Santa Monica is about 7 miles.
How is and behind you, right behind you, it looks like fire.
Oh, that's the well. There is so you do have the glow from the fire over here, and over there. That's all. That's the sun's setting right now with all the smoke in the air.
So some of it is the sun, and some is fire,
Yes.
right?
So are you in
So-
Are you in Encino?
No, I'm here in Bel Air. The Encino. So Encino is going to be this direction, to the north and to the west of where we are. And there is a woodley fire over there. The fires are growing closer to each other as the Palisades fire here continues to move north. You can see another big plume is just starting to rise up
I
right
see
now
that.
here. So we've definitely got a lot of fuel back there. There's no homes directly behind this part of the hill, so there's a lot of fuel back there, but there are homes just over I'm trying to, there, behind there. There's Mount St. Mary's College is poking out over the hill there, so that's all in danger right now, very immediate danger.
What are the chances,
and they
Leo?
are
What are the chances that fire comes over the mountain or hill?
Well, it's very, very high. I mean, considering that they don't
Are
have
you red?
the water
Are
right
you
now.
red because of the fire or because of the sun? You know, you're very red.
My
Your face is
no,
very
this-
red. I know you well, and I know you're not. You're usually not that red.
I was.
I mean, it looks good
No,
actually,
I was
but I
on.
mean, I think that's from fire.
Thank you. No, this is from the vacation I was on that I had to cut early.
Okay.
Because of the fire.
Because your face looks like it's flushed. You know it.
Oh well, it's it's a little chilly out here. There's a little bit of wind, so
Are you
maybe there's some
breathing
wind
in a
burn
lot
going
of?
on. But
Are you breathing in a lot of smoke?
there's ash. There is ash coming down. There's a little bit of ash right now, but you can smell the smoke. It's definitely very toxic. There's a lot of homes that have burned. Over 5,000 homes have burned in this now over 21,000 acre fire.
When are we leaving, Leo?
Yeah, Leo, what are you still doing there? You're talking about toxic ash and everything else.
You need to come to Florida.
Well, we're in the prepare. I'm currently in the prepare to evacuate zone. I encourage folks to, grab the things that are irreplaceable, like family photos,
Yeah, sure.
heirlooms,
Yeah, absolutely.
jewelry, stuff like that. If you've got, cash or crypto on a cold wallet, make sure you get that. Your pets, obviously. If you do have large animals like horses or other livestock, you can take them to the Rose Bowl. They're accepting animals there. If you can get them there, that's a safe place you can take them right now as well. But I will be staying until I'm told to go, and maybe a little bit after, but that's because I'm stubborn and young. If you're elderly or you have folks that are elderly that are in these areas, please get to them while you can, help them pack their stuff and get them out of there with their pets
They're
as well.
not in an evacuation zone yet.
Yeah. I'm in the prepared to evacuate zone. My grandmother lives around the corner from me, so I will be helping her out, load up, family heirlooms and photos. There's photos of my great grandparents and great grandparents that, God forbid, we lose the home. That's stuff that you can't ever get back again.
Oh, that's
For a different reason. I know exactly what you mean.
But you can see that glow. Is that the fire over the ridge? Or that's the sunset?
Yeah.
There's a
So
smoke
over
mare.
the ridge here,
I see that.
yeah. So
It
some of
looks
it is
like
fire,
it's not.
some
It
of it
looks
is
like
sunset.
it's rather precarious. I mean, depending on the wind, that
Yeah.
could come over that mountain.
And
Very, very.
Leo,
easily.
your house is on the other side of that mountain ridge, correct?
No, it's actually on the side of the hill that I'm on right now.
Interesting. I should
So
know
there's
that.
a
I've been there.
So where I'm standing is the same side where my house and
Yeah.
my grandmother's house is.
Okay. Well, that's
For those who want to dox me.
well, yeah. We want to encourage you to get out safely, Leo.
Well, Leo, tell people how they can help you run for governor. Boy, do we need it. I was teasing you last night that you'd be a better governor than Newsom, and then many people said I insulted you.
Oh no,
I'm
no. I mean,
kidding.
look,
I'm
anybody could
kidding.
be a
You
better.
would be a
Well,
very
hold on,
good
not
governor.
anybody. There's a lot of bad people out there,
Newsom,
but I can very easily be a better governor.
Newsom or
Yeah. So
anybody else, you'd be one hell of a governor. Look at the dedication you have compared to
thank you.
the
Well,
mayor and the governor in that place.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, you can always go to leozaki.com. That's
Good.
leozacky.com. Please check me out there. I've been talking about wildfires for years, and it is something that is an endemic problem here in California. We know that they're going to happen, but we can mitigate them with better uh, better forest management by bringing in the logging companies to clear out the bark beetle. We can obviously have more water storage. We haven't built any significant water storage in the state in 50 years. And in fact, it's worse than that. Gavin Newsom has just taken down the dams on the Klamath River that we could have been using to feed the aqueduct to bring the water down here to our reservoirs in Southern California. Also, again, dumping it out to save the Sacramento River smelt, which has been eaten up by bass that were brought in here illegally. So they have been gone and unmeasurable for about 7 years now. This is, again, all under Gavin Newsom's watch. But please, yeah, go to leozaki.com.
I mean,
You can learn more about me there.
you can't get smell somewhere else.
No.
Oh, well, of
There's
course we
smells all
can.
over the
Of
world.
course we can, but God forbid we
I
have
get
to
a
have
lot of
that kind of
smells
thought
from Italy.
process. Hey, those are probably, honestly, they're probably better. And I bet
If
the wildlife
if
would
you like
enjoy
to
them
eat
far
bones,
better.
yeah, they're great.
And by the way,
Well, it's more for the
and before
humans.
anyone criticizes us for talking some folks will claim now's not the time to talk
Yeah. Oh,
politics or
there's
partisan
ashes. You can
politics.
see the ashes coming down.
Now is the
I'm
exact
getting
You can't
ashes
time.
all
talk
over.
And
politics.
now
A lot more people are going to die.
anyone saying that is providing cover for Gavin Newsom, a failed
Yeah,
mayor,
we're
Karen Bass.
way beyond anybody saying not talk politics when they can't fill up fire hydrants.
That is
When they can't fill up fire hydrants, you should come in, take them away and bring them to a hospital with Biden.
well, as the mayor said. I mean, you go ahead, Leo.
And no, absolutely. I mean, the fact that you have this DEI hire as the fire chief here in Los Angeles that was focusing, really emphasizing on hiring more women to the force as opposed to just, I don't know, having capable trained
I thought she was
firefighters.
hiring green and pink people. She had to have some green and
I
pink
mean,
and every one of the
yeah, you gotta
colors.
get all the colors of the
Then you
rainbow.
had to
Except
have
white. You can't
little
have white.
people to be firefighters and very, very big people that don't fit into the fire trucks.
I watched an entire interview
I
with
mean,
her, Leo and Mayor. I watched an entire interview with this I believe the fire chief, and she talked about all these things she wanted to do and all these ways they wanted to get more women on the force, everything and she touched upon basically everything except firefighting. Right?
But maybe she doesn't know
yeah,
anything about
no,
firefighting.
yeah. I mean, the police are out in action. They're going to areas to go and get people notified to tell them to start getting ready to leave. I mean, we've seen, look how the smoke has moved in just this short time. Another plume is now further to the
See that?
north, getting far closer
That's
to
terrible.
the Mountain Gate community right now. I mean, this is moving. This fire is on the move.
Well, God bless you. We'll keep in touch
Yeah, I mean, you can see
over the
all this
weekend.
ash coming down right now.
Make sure you're okay.
Yeah,
and your family.
Come on down to Palm
I'll
Beach.
be all right.
Yeah,
if you need a place.
No, well, I'll be down there. I'll be down there plenty.
You come down
But
there.
right now,
we
California
don't have
needs
hurricanes
me.
until September, so don't worry.
Well, if hurricanes, are coming at least. We have the technology for that. Fires, they
By the
happen.
way,
You
we
get a
have a
little bit of
governor
lead time.
in Florida. We
That's
actually
true.
have a
You've got a
functioning
great
governor,
governor.
which is
Wow,
really.
what a concept.
But we're a Republican state,
Ron
so
DeSantis is great.
okay, Leo.
He's
Thank
really
you.
great. I've had the
Thank
privilege
you.
of meeting him.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
thank you, guys.
we'll stay in touch, Leo. Just stay in touch with me, and any updates in that. Let's continue to talk. So, our friend Leo, live from the scene, right in the middle of it. Unfortunately, he's now in a evacuation warning zone, which I believe is a step before they ask you to, in fact, evacuate. 2005. I do. 2005.
Bush was vilified for Katrina.
He was.
Nobody said anything about Biden with this.
And no one's
What's Biden done?
No one's saying anything about Newsom, but you're right. Biden hasn't done a damn thing.
Well, first of all, a president can do very little about a state and local disaster. It's all up to, I think of Florida. Florida, 2 years before Katrina, in fact, in 2004, in the summer of 2004, Florida had 4 hurricanes in 5 weeks. Now, that will kill a governor. Not only didn't kill Jeb Bush, he fought them all with minimizing the loss of life and minimizing damage. And he did not come to his brother's convention renominating him because staying there with his people was more important. This nitwit goes off to Ghana in order to represent a president leaving in 4 or 5 days or 10 days. I mean, he actually left 4 years ago. And of course, the only thing to be said about it is, what the hell would she have done? She doesn't know what she's doing. She came back and she couldn't answer questions for a day. I think they had to give her medicines. Only point I've got to make to my good friends in California over and over again is you voted for them. You voted for that dilettante, silly, hypocritical Newsom. And I don't know what bass is, you voted for her and she can't even talk. Now, it isn't a joke. It's a matter of life and death. I see that a lot of the celebrities are very angry at their liberal government. Now, I'm not minimizing in any way what they're going through and losing their houses. I don't have this, oh, gee, if they're rich, they should lose their houses, but if they're poor, they shouldn't. You shouldn't lose your house or your life, no matter if you're rich or poor or somewhere in between. I feel very sorry for them losing their houses. But I have to say to them, didn't you create this with these numbskulls that you put in office? Did you ever bother to figure out if they know how to do anything? How do you not fill fire hydrants? We're now 4 days since we first found out they don't have any water. You mean they can't fly water in there? You know, I'm trying to use the pronunciation that Trump used. Newsom. Yeah, that's it. Governor Newsom. He doesn't know where to get water. This is crazy. I don't know if the fire hydrants are filled yet. I mean, he could wait until the whole county of Los Angeles is gone. Or is he waiting for it to go out naturally? Did you see any planes flying over there, putting water on it? I mean, you surely have seen you've seen forest fires before. I remember the major forest fires in Suffolk County way back in 1996, maybe 94, 95, 96. And we sent them fire trucks, but what they really needed were airplanes. So I don't, this is one of the great examples that you should really take to heart as to just how damaging these progressives are and why that party has to be changed dramatically for our good. I don't think there should be one party. There should be two. But the other one shouldn't really be a party that puts people's lives in jeopardy. We'll be back very shortly with our good friend Justine. Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with.
They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans. No Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Welcome back to American Mayor Live. We have Justine with us. And Justine, as you know, was a regular on our show when she lived in brutal, horrific Democrat dictatorship in New York. Now she lives in Virginia.
Yep.
Good. You don't live in the swamp. And tell us what you're doing. I know what she's doing, but you don't know what she's doing. So tell us what you're doing.
Certainly. Well, first, Mayor, thank you so much for having me back. It's been so long, and it's so great to be with you. And
Great to see you too. You've done so much good work with us. We really do miss you. Fred didn't know what to do without you. He'd go out there and where's Christine? Where's Christine?
I missed you guys so much. I currently work for the Media Research Center's MRC TV as a host of a weekly miniseries called Woke of the Week.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I showed him a couple. Yeah.
We got maybe we gotta talk about, we'll play those like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so what, you expose this phoniness and hypocrisy and
I go a little bit deeper into the issue of woke because simply when you hear the word woke, you think a man in a dress, but it's really cultural Marxism. And we've seen woke.
very good. Yeah.
We've seen woke to the point where it's gotten dangerous and deadly. And you can really tie any DEI initiative, the DEI initiatives that became very deadly with the wildfires right now, you can tie that back to woke, and you can tie back to woke the fact that all these leftists supported the murder of a father of two in the name of taking down the evil white CEO, praising that Luigi kid.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know if that's still going on, but a couple of weeks ago, it was really, really frightening to see them all cheering the fact that the guy runs an insurance company. It's okay to kill him.
And it's the same mindset that is now it now gets people justifying the fact that actor James Woods, his house has completely burnt down, and you have leftists cheering it on. You have leftists even cheering on the fact that it doesn't even matter what political view you hold. It doesn't matter that you're a liberal Californian. If your house burnt down, you have leftists cheering it on in the name of freeing Palestine because, of course,
So they're in favor of the left-wing, rich Hollywood people losing their houses because they're rich, because rich cancels out being left-wing.
Exactly.
Where do they think they get the money to steal elections?
Exactly. But it's the circular logic. First, they claim to support the Hollywood elitists. The Hollywood elitists, they're patting themselves on the back. They just had their Golden Globe award show, and they're patting themselves on
They did.
They did.
That was my reaction, man. We didn't even hear about it.
When did they have it on? All I see on television are football games.
Well,
They were able to get a Globes in.
that's funny, right? You're right, man. Of course, we hang out so much.
Do they get as good ratings as football games?
Not even close. And thank goodness, I still hear about these shows, right? But now I don't even hear about them. So we've gotten to a good place where I don't even know when the Golden Globes, I think that's different than the Oscars, or is it the same thing?
The Oscars I know are for movies.
The Golden Globes are TV?
And the Emmys are for TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I actually presented an Emmy once. I didn't get one like Andrew Cuomo got an Emmy for his performance getting old people killed in nursing homes. Well, I guess it helped population control.
There you go.
And they're all in favor of population control, as long as it isn't that.
Right.
You know, at the beginning and the end, get rid of the little get rid of the little babies at 6 and 7 months in the womb, kill them, smash their heads, and then let's get rid of the old people as fast as possible, unless it's one of them.
Oh, and also get rid of those little girls who are currently being sexually assaulted in the UK, and
They're doing a pretty good job of it.
muffling the girls whose predators are on the Diddy and Epstein list. Who I hope we can.
What list? Epstein was the biggest fraud ever. Nobody used Epstein apparently because nobody's come up on the list. The list was supposed to be a mile long. What happened to it?
Yeah, it just poof.
And who has that damn thing? Where is this list?
Maybe we'll see it revealed in a week.
Right?
Wink, wink.
That's right. So Justine's now living down here in Washington, D.C., Mayor, which you and I have both lived. You've lived there.
Yeah.
I've moved here
a while back, but
and so compare it to New York.
Well, it's a lot better because I live outside. Bless you. I live outside the swamp, not in the swamp. I used to live in the swamp as well, and I lived in the swamp during the time of the mask mandates and the vaccine mandates, where you couldn't eat, you couldn't even go inside a store for a minute without showing proof of your vaccination. And
wow.
it's such a wonderful difference. I do miss New York. I do miss New Jersey. I visit a lot, but we have a wonderful governor in Virginia. And I just feel a sense
of difference when you have a good governor. I feel that way in Florida. I mean, I feel so much better in Florida. And it affects the whole government. The whole government is a lot more responsive because the governor is responsive.
Exactly.
It's a funny thing. Morale does come to some extent from the top. And when you have a governor like Youngkin or you have a governor like DeSantis who actually do the job, it's remarkable.
The other thing, you mentioned morale. There's a lot less Karens in Virginia. People are a little bit nicer. They're kinder. They're not nosy. They don't tell you what to do or what to think. I remember when I was living in DC, I got into an elevator with a woman one time and she started screaming at me. And I said, what? I can be the only one in this elevator. She was all masked up. And in Virginia, it's like, who cares? Who cares?
Well, liberals know better.
Right. Oh yeah, they're
smarter than you are.
Right.
They are smarter than you are, and they're very smart because also they don't believe in God, and you're stupid because you believe in God.
And they're so
Karl Marx told them that.
So much smarter than we are. That they are really doing a great job with the fires, putting out the fires. You know why?
Is it a coincidence that in every situation that I can think of, and I'm more than willing to have you give me an exception. I'd like to have one. I can't think of a city governed by a Democrat that isn't a disaster. Now, I might be, I don't know all the cities, and you might have some small cities, you know, in the Midwest or whatever that are governed by Democrats and they're very good. But let's say I'm talking about the major cities. I can't think of one that, you know, Boston, mayor of Boston's out of her mind. New York, I mean, the guy is under investigation about.
Right.
I mean, every government around is investigating him, and it might be it's because he turned on Biden, but they sure found plenty.
Yeah.
And some of it is suspicious as hell.
I mean,
the mayor.
LA, do we even call her a mayor?
By the way, this place here can't even pick up snow.
Yeah.
DC.
They can't even pick up snow. You know how easy it is to pick up snow? I mean, I was an expert at picking up snow.
Well, they let Black Lives Matter the summer of 2020, the beautiful street right behind the White House. You know, you got businesses and stuff and restaurants. They let BLM come in, take over the damn street, write chalk all over the side, and they just can't. It's probably still there.
No, it's gone.
It is gone?
I think.
It was up for years, though. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember talking about it. It was there.
The restaurant. Don't they have a say?
It's where Johnson, Sullivan stood and said, "Let's go tomorrow over to the Capitol and crash it open." And hardly spent any time in jail for it. Yeah. And also said, "Let's go take Trump out," which is a threat on the president and the Secret Service. Well, they don't actually count threats on Trump. So
very interesting that once Joe Biden took over the White House, suddenly all the BLM signs, all the rioters,
He was their candidate,
yeah,
and his vice president bailed him out, and his biggest donor is their biggest donor, Soros.
the fence outside the White House, though, it was just like overnight,
Yeah.
suddenly spotless, which is suddenly spotless, and it was riddled with dirt and just signs everywhere and bums everywhere, and just when a Democrat comes in, oh, suddenly it's funny how they refuse to prosecute violent criminals, bums on the streets of New York, crackheads. But let's say, for instance, back in when the Chinese president came to San Francisco, suddenly San Francisco was spotless.
Oh gosh, yeah, all the homeless were put in a box.
Right. Day or two, and then they
Right.
brought them and just sprawled them out. And now the story about Leah was talking about the firefighters. One of the wildfires was 100% arson.
Yeah.
He said. Well, there was an arsonist, this violent bum who was caught lighting a fire with a blowtorch, and he was actually running around with it, and he was lighting trees on fire. He was lighting old Christmas trees on fire, and he wasn't caught by the LAPD. He was caught by the local residents, these local heroes in California. And even though he was caught being an arsonist, the LAPD today announced, no, we refuse. We were refuse to charge him with arson. They say, oh, well, we don't really know. You don't really know. He was caught lighting everything on fire. So some of this seems deliberate, and they blame climate change. Your climate change is right there. It's one man, and also the DEI policies. And
No, I think the reason for the fires is because we have climate change. We have winter, and we have spring,
oh,
and we have summer, and we have fall, and because of that, we have fires, right?
and hurricanes.
And
And snow.
because of climate change. Now, what the hell is climate change? What is climate change?
Climate change is
Climate changes in moderate atmospheres and parts of the earth where the temperature is moderate. Doesn't change very much at the equator. Doesn't change very much at the Arctic Circle. Now you get toward the middle and it starts to change a lot.
Right.
Been that way since before we can imagine, right? So exactly what are they doing to climate change? Are they stopping?
all,
So we're not going to have any more climate change?
all they're doing.
It's a stupid concept to avoid global warming, because then they got to say global warming like during Carter's funeral and it's snowing like hell, right?
Is that it's called Don't Believe Your Lying Eyes and Ears.
Right. Yeah, there's snow falling, but it really isn't snow.
Right. And they'll make excuses for it too. But the whole ideology behind the climate hysteria is that the government needs to infringe on your rights. And the idea behind that is it's a Jimmy Carter idea that America, the West, we have to deal with having less.
Well,
We have to, it's a very anti-humanist perspective. Humans are bad. We're a burden to the planet. We shouldn't try to invent and create things and better ourselves and better our communities and have our next generation live better lives than we did. No, that's terrible. Humans, they want, these are the same people who really want humans to go extinct, the same people who support baby murder, the same people who would probably support the one child policy that they had in China.
they're regretting that now because their population is shrinking.
Yep.
Their population is shrinking. Their economy is shrinking, and all that talk about by 2030 they would equal our economy, and by 2040 they would has been put off until the end of the century.
Well, now kind of they're realizing they don't have enough people they can indoctrinate to become members of the CCP.
So it'll eventually, that's going to be tough because they have much better control, let's say, than Iran, where I think I can see Iran changing under Trump. China is tougher, but you're right. They've got an unbelievable problem with maybe what 7 billion people who are in dire 700 billion people in dire poverty.
It's
They have no answer for it. They don't. I mean, of course, people don't mean that much to them.
right.
They just control them. Well, Christine, we got to see you down in Florida too.
We got to
Right.
get Justine down to
You got to get a suntan like
Leo.
Leo had.
Leo, that was
Leo tan.
I get that Leo tan.
That looked like a fire red to me. I'll tell you.
He did come back. I'm gonna go ahead. He's in public. He was in Hawaii. I mean, a lot of Californians, right? They go to Hawaii for vacation. I always wondered, where do you go for vacation if you're in Southern California? It's such a, it's such a.
You go to some place that's not polluted.
Look, all right. So I'm sensing some New York, LA.
Oh, do you like waking up every morning with no sun?
No sun.
No sun.
You know there's sun in Los Angeles in the morning. Have you ever seen sun in the morning in Los Angeles?
Oh, okay. Okay. I get it.
The sun until about 4 o'clock.
Does this say now? I know. Look, the politics are backwards, but New York too, right?
You know what the
But
weather
is this an LA, New York bias that I'm sensing?
I'm just telling you the truth.
I'm still.
Did you ever see? Did you ever spend any period of time in San Francisco?
San Francisco's.
I was at a Giant game in August in San Francisco a few years ago. I had to wear an overcoat. It was freezing.
Oh, that's true. San Francisco's definitely it's cooler.
And then it's
than you
a
would
little
think.
like it's like Seattle. Seattle rains 200 times a year.
Yeah.
People love it. I mean, if you
Some-
like the rain,
If you like the rain, I
if you
guess.
like the rain, great. Because when it doesn't rain, it's really beautiful. If you can see through the marijuana smoke, it's beautiful.
That's a good point. So,
Gets out of my hair.
that's so fun. So, but yeah, we got to get Justine down to Palm Beach, down to
Yeah.
Florida. Maybe you'll come on there.
Yeah,
and-
we voted against legalizing marijuana.
Where's DC on that?
Yeah,
Well, judging by the
we
smell, I
like
think
we like to have preserved brains, as opposed to brains that are deteriorated because you're smoking marijuana, which has been uncovered in the last 10 years. After they went through this frenzy with marijuana is really safe. It's safer than alcohol. It's safer than like hell it is. It actually has a massive impact on your brain.
So
And
also,
particularly the powerful stuff they have now.
there also seems to
Yeah.
be no way if you're driving and you're on marijuana. There's no way to tell.
That's why they're changing it in Oregon, because it's like bumper cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
boom, boom.
Boom, boom, left and right, left and right. They're all.
And then when you watch them on television, the people on the left coast, they always seem spacey.
Like the DEI fire chief.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Water in a fire hydrant?
Oh, what?
Why do you think that was for water?
What
I
is?
thought that was for male dogs urinating.
Wait, but she is the first Black lesbian female fire chief.
Well, I make sure to add if my house is on fire or I'm in an emergency and I'm calling 911, I demand to know
Well, you
what are
get
the
five-
DEI requirements of.
Let me explain to you the optimum in fighting a fire, big house fire, a team of 5.
Yeah.
Officer, 4 people. So now you got to have a white one, black one.
No, you don't have to have a white one. Remember, you do not have to have a white one. That's the one you do not have.
Whites can be discriminated
Yes,
against.
yeah.
Okay,
So
but black one,
yeah.
Asian one,
Asian,
a Latinx one.
Latinx. There you go. Latinx.
Hispanics hate that, and they should.
Yeah.
Then you have to
You
have,
have the LGBTQ IRS plus community represented.
That's why it's-
How are you ever going to have all-inclusive 57 different genders?
That's why I don't know why they cut the budget for the fire department. On one hand, they're trying to include someone from each of these profiles. At the same time, they're cutting the budget. Do they not understand that we're adding another
Somebody
letter?
in sometime, or maybe we'll devote a podcast to it with a chart of all the genders.
57, 58 maybe now.
that would be that.
That's an idea for MRC. We got it.
Like, what are they?
We should collaborate on that.
I know
You
some
should-
that are wacky, like the kids who think they're cabs,
Right.
right? Is that a gender?
That will be soon. That you mark my words. That will someday be a category.
Someday they actually bring litter boxes into schools so kids can urinate in the litter box.
New Jersey. It
Absurd.
was alleged in my county, my home county in New Jersey, it was alleged that this there are multiple reports that this kid needed a litter box because he identified as a cat. And I think there's some
You
category.
needed a doctor.
So too.
You needed a doctor. You needed help. I mean, the poor kid needed help. It's like somebody walking around thinking they're George Washington. I'm George
Listen,
Washington. I'm a
I-
cat.
I
Hey, okay, I'll be okay. You come with me, kid. Bellevue has a nice little spot for you. And we'll take care of you. And we'll see if we can talk you out of it. Or maybe give you medicine or what the hell we'll do to you. We'll do something with you. But we're not going to get you a litter box.
That's right. It's absurd. So, Justine, how can folks keep in touch with you? I don't know. You want to give out your X or your Instagram? We want to get you. We want to do some. We can do it. You can do Zooms now, right? We can
Yeah.
beam in live from Palm Beach, and have you on.
What does that mean? We can beam in live and Zoom.
It's not.
He's way ahead of me.
It's another word for
like a call it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's another word for just calling. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have personal social media pages and our MRC TV pages. It's MRC TV on YouTube and Rumble, and we're also MRC TV on X and we're also at the MRC. That's our main media research
So
center.
which is bigger? And what about Roku?
Roku. We should get on Roku.
MRC is the Media Research Center. They do amazing, incredible work that's shared. We want to start getting some of their stuff, and we'll share it. They're the ones that will break down how many times the cable news lied about Trump yesterday, right? Or how many times they said something negative on Trump compared to
How can
Biden.
you possibly keep up with it?
Right.
How can you possibly keep up with it?
We did
Yeah.
we did a wonderful interview with you on 9/11 commemorating
I
the
remember.
victims.
I remember. Yeah.
And our audience at MRC loved seeing you. They loved you. And now just seeing the support among media outlets all last week for the ISIS terrorist.
Mhm.
They refused to call him a terrorist, the guy who crashed into the New Orleans crowd, even when he was confirmed to be a terrorist.
Even though he left at home a passage in the Quran with an arrow on it, which basically said that you'll be hailed as a hero if you kill infidels, Jews and Christians.
Yep. Oh, but
I mean, that's Muhammad's teaching.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
I mean, please don't get angry at me. Please don't kill me. I mean,
Juliet Kayyem, she's an anchor on CNN, and she called President Trump a terrorist immediately because of he's on the right, he's President Trump. But she said, don't jump to conclusions that this ISIS terrorist is a terrorist. And then she admits, okay, he is technically a terrorist, but why do we have to say that? Why do we have to admit that this ISIS terrorist is a terrorist? Well,
maybe so we can catch the other ones.
yeah. But they align with the terrorists.
It's really a heck of a tragedy. It really is.
Yep. Only we're supposed to be the terrorists because we're white and we're proud Americans and we want liberty.
Well, thank you very much, Christine. We're going to have you back again as soon as possible with this magic that Ted is talking about, the Zoom boom.
Well, it's not even Zoom. It's actually Restream.
Zoomy.
So, Zoom is becoming a term kind of like Kleenex, where it's like
Kleenex?
people use the term when referring to things that aren't the brand is Zoom. Like Google something, right? Like search for it online.
What we have now is so good. We may move in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Ryan we're moving in. Well, I do. I mean, look, he's offered this spot to us whenever we're in town.
Well, we may be
in town a lot more often. I don't think he understands. He's got to see a friend in the White House. What he just signed up for.
He doesn't know what we have in store for him, right?
What a great spot.
We could be back here for the inauguration.
Well, we want to thank Justine for coming and spending time with us tonight. I do believe we got to get some more of our ads in.
Okay, well,
and then
we got
to back and wrap up.
After all, we're not communists. We got to make some money.
So we'll come back and wrap up another interesting week. And then, Mayor, next week is our last week with Joe Biden sitting in the White House.
Oh, can we make fun of him every day?
We got to get it. We got to get our time in with Joe.
He's gone.
Well, isn't that amazing? Well, it's kind of like when Kamala took over,
Kamala gave us such great
good stuff, and then Kamala quickly went. That went
Yeah.
out fast. So who's going to be? Now we're going to be.
material out of Kamala.
Well, now we're going to get the
where she looked like she was growling at the first stepmother.
for the next 4
She and
years.
the first stepmother were growling at each other.
We got to bring that picture up. Yeah.
It's such kind.
Yeah.
Oh, so lovely.
So this is what the Media Research Center and
First stepmother is so kind, little Navy.
She's a Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not put up a Christmas stocking for Navy, so we can give her trauma.
right.
Yeah.
But this Media Research Center will be doing a lot of great work the next 4 years because the shift will now turn to the media, ridiculous media, what they're going to end up doing, and then of course the Senate, and I'm sure the House will give us some good content.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll be right back after these messages,
I'll
and
stay.
we'll say goodbye to Justine, and the mayor will come back with some closing remarks.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please.
Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. So we're coming into
Too loud.
this is not the last weekend that Biden is president. It's the second to last weekend that Biden is president. Next weekend is the inauguration weekend, the leading into the inauguration weekend. So let's talk a little football.
Let's talk football.
Last night was quite a game, huh?
Oh yeah.
It was quite a game. Notre Dame pulled it out, but it was, I mean, there were several points in the game where you thought it turned around, like when Notre Dame threw the interception with about 5 minutes to go. It looked like the game had flipped, right?
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, they got an interception and they flipped it around.
That's right.
And Derek Jeter won the game.
A guy named Jeter, and we had a friend who will remain nameless in this case. We're watching the game. He's a big Penn State fan. It's kind of unique having Mayor Rudy Giuliani over to watch the game with you, right?
Right.
And we're sitting there in the fourth quarter, tie game. They put the Notre Dame kicker on screen, right? And his last name is Jeter. So our friend is sitting there with his Penn State jersey on, and it comes to him, and he just says, "Wow, I just realized I'm sitting here watching the game with Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and my opponent's team has a kicker named Jeter. We ain't winning this one." And that's exactly what happened.
I guess there's strange karma.
Yeah.
But it was a very good game. And I tell you, a lot of times there's criticism of the NCAA and they don't put the right teams together and it's too much. So far, I mean, there have been a couple of no real blowout, a couple of big wins, but all competitive games. The last night game, you couldn't be more competitive than that. What's going on tonight with Ohio State?
Ohio State and the University of Texas Longhorns. Someone want to shout out the score? What's the score of the game over there? Oh. All right, I think it's in a commercial break. Yeah. So I'll
Well, before you see the score, tell me what you think.
I predicted Ohio State wins this one. I will they cover? Sure, let's go with
What
them.
cover is what?
6.5 points,
That's a big
which is a
one.
big one. That was a tough, but I'm just gonna pick them straight up. Ohio State wins. And it's currently 7-0. So wow, I mean, we have a look. These are college kids, right? You got to remember
7 Ohio State.
7-0 Ohio State with 2 minutes left. A lot of folks were saying Ohio State's gonna blow the doors off Texas based off of performance, but
anybody out of
not now. They did for the up until the last couple games. We happened to catch 2 very good games, Mayor. But the first round, they were all blowouts.
But even some of the other games leading up to this were heavy defensive games.
There were a couple,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And so again, I always just remember these are kids. These are 18 to 21,
Yeah.
22-year-olds. I mean, they're huge,
Well, I think
but
last night
things can happen, right?
Last night, one of the reasons it was so close is the lines were very close.
That's right.
You saw the dominance on the line going back and forth.
That's
It
right.
wasn't like one way all the time.
That's
There
right.
were periods of time when Notre Dame couldn't run, and then all of a sudden they break away a big run.
Right.
And there'd be periods of time when Penn State couldn't run, and then they break away a big run.
Right.
But the lines were like, it was hard to say which line was better.
Right.
They sort of traded back and forth, and neither one was dominant.
Right. So tonight,
And both quarterbacks were excellent at eluding the rush, which helps a lot.
yeah. Look, those were two solid programs, storied programs. The Penn State Nittany Lions, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. By the way, how are they allowed to keep that name?
What's wrong with it?
Well, nothing.
Fighting?
Yeah,
Fighting
nothing
Irish?
in my book. But I thought, the Fighting Sioux had to change their name. Anyway, making kind of a joke
Well,
with
don't
that.
say it. I mean, we might have
We might actually lose them now.
What are we going to call them? The lace curtain Irish? There is such a description,
Yeah, I mean, I figured you got that term from something.
The lace curtain Irish.
That's right. That's right. And so, Mayor, tonight, another big matchup between Texas and Ohio State. So that's like 2 big programs.
Yeah.
Notre Dame. Who do you think Notre Dame is looking forward to facing? They're going to be the underdog no matter what, whether it's Ohio State or Texas.
I don't think it matters. I don't think you get yourself into that mindset. When it's very bad to get yourself into that mindset when you're in a World Series or a championship, or you got to be ready to play anybody.
Yeah.
And you have to have the attitude, I want to beat the best. So they may want to play Ohio State.
That's right. And
They may not want to win, and people say, "Oh, they won. They beat the team that it was easier to beat." That's all.
Right.
That's the only way they want.
Right.
There's a lot of pride about that.
Right.
I remember the Yankees when they were getting ready. They always wanted to play the better team. They'd say, "Well, wouldn't you rather play whoever it was the second level team?" No, we want to play the Braves.
That's been the line the last 10, 15 years. We want Bama.
Well, you think
Alabama.
about the Braves that the Yankees beat them 2 or 3 times. I don't remember.
The Braves?
I mean, yeah.
Did they? Yeah, in the 90s.
No, not through. No.
The 90s.
They beat them twice. They beat them in 96, and they beat them in 99. They beat
96. You got them.
98. They beat San Diego,
Um,
and 2000 they beat the Mets.
What about 1957? It was the Milwaukee Braves.
Yes, Milwaukee Braves.
Yeah.
They
You would have gotten that. I'm not saying you wouldn't have.
went with the Milwaukee Braves. They lost to them in 56.
Oh, so they played twice in this.
They did. They played 56 and 50. That was Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron as young men.
Cameron, Hank Aaron.
Yeah, but Eddie Matthews also. Two and Warren Spahn.
They all played for the Braves.
Right. They had a great team.
Oh my God! I mean, and that's so before the Brewers.
Warren Spahn came to the Milwaukee Braves from the Boston Braves, and the Boston Braves were in a World Series in the 1940s, and they had nothing but 2 pitchers. That's where the saying came from: Spawn and Sane and pray for rain. Johnny Sane,
Yeah.
Warren Spahn, and pray for rain.
Meaning the rain part.
Meaning they had nothing. They needed a day off. So
so,
pitch again.
okay. So they had more pitchers on the rotation.
Of course, but
they
they
only
only
had
got
2 worth
the
it.
Boston Braves. Spawn and Sane and
And that's the opposite of the 1990s Braves with all the pitching they
now
had.
think about and the Boston Braves moved to Milwaukee and they traded Johnny Sane to the New York Yankees and he became their second great relief pitcher. The Yankees invented the relief pitcher.
Really?
With Joe Page.
Wow.
He was the first real relief pitcher. But a relief pitcher came in the 6th inning or the 7th inning or the 8th inning. He wasn't just a closer.
But he would close.
See, if you ever interview Goose Gossage, he'll get really upset if you try to compare him to. I'm not a closer. I'm a pitcher.
So
Goose Gossage used to pitch 3-4 innings.
Yeah, that is that the original pitcher would be 6th, 7th inning to close, and they would be the closer.
Yeah,
closer is a relatively new concept.
As the relief pitcher came first.
Yeah.
They used to use everybody was a regular pitcher.
Yeah,
and they would come in and like Allie Reynolds was a pitcher for the Yankees, and he was a great one, all-star, big World Series hero. He used to relieve maybe 15 games a year, 10, 15 games a year, as well as start.
Wow.
And all
the
rest would do a little less.
Yeah.
But he was like a workhorse.
Wow. Back then when pitchers were pitchers.
Remember when we interviewed Denny McClain? How many innings did
Denny McClain? How
many innings did he pitch in that season where he won 31 games?
Oh my goodness.
Almost 300?
Oh my goodness. We got to get Denny
300 innings?
Innings pitched.
Any kid today that pitched 100 innings would lose his arm.
Now they have these.
Oh, my arm, I can't move my arm.
In 1968, I believe the Tigers won the World Series that year.
Of course he did. Yeah, but Denny McClain he had a bad World Series.
He pitched 336 innings.
Yeah, he had a bad World Series.
Oh.
He probably was exhausted in the World Series.
Oh, yeah, right after all that.
It was Mickey Lolich, who won the World Series. You check it, you'll see he was getting.
I know that. How do you know so much about baseball? You just gave me more stats about the 68 Detroit Tigers than I know, and I'm a Detroit Tigers fan.
Because unlike the view that the vicious, bloodthirsty judge has today, who wants to put me in jail, I'm both honest and intelligent.
Of course, you are. Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm not going to go.
And I don't lie. And I am extraordinarily offended that you accuse me of lying. Except I kind of evaluate the source. Who she's a pathologically disturbed federal judge.
That's right.
What she did to the J6 people is something she's going to have to pay for. With the last judgment. I mean, that's terrible. What she's done to me, she has to. I mean, we're getting to the end of the show, but once again, hey, how about you come on, Stephen, and we'll ask you about your experience in court today.
Oh, I can do that.
Other way.
I'll go around the other way.
I find the experience completely mind-boggling because we had a thing with this judge a couple of days ago where we asked if it would be possible. Ted was very much a part of this because he is here with me, and of course we had to move our show as a result of it. We asked the judge if it was possible that I could participate by Zoom, which of course they did all the time during COVID. And the judge got really nasty and, said, well, yeah, but tell me where you've gone the last 30 days and where you're going the next 30 days. And you better not go to the inaugural. So I should have started to think, now, how can she stop me from going to the inaugural, whether I show up today or I don't? What my penalty is I don't go to the inaugural?
We're going.
But you've got to realize what a nut job she is. So we decided, the hell with her. Why give her an excuse? Let's come. But I predicted then to my lawyers, this is complete bullshit because she got the opinion written already. This is a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time and a complete waste of legal fees because she has the opinion written already because she is a dishonest judge. The way she railroaded J6 people is a disgrace. She didn't think the sentences were enough. So she told the other judges they should give higher sentences. They should have had her removed from the bench when she did that. There's something unstable about that. You shouldn't be so damn concerned about their sentences that you go around to other judges. Because what? It's a movement sentence? We sentence people individually, Judge. That's our jurisprudence. You're kind of using Soviet and Nazi jurisprudence. Then the trial she gave me on my $148 million verdict is a disgrace, and it wasn't a trial. It was a proceeding. Once again, that a Soviet, Nazi, or Venezuelan judge would be very comfortable with. Now this one, see, we came there on time. She kept us waiting. Made the big effort to come here. We came here. We were supposed to be 10:30. She was on the bench at 9:30. I say this because it's important. On the bench continually from 9:30 until about 1 when we got out in front of her. We argued before her for 3 hours. I testified. I walked down from the bench. The other lawyer got up, made a 5-minute closing argument. My lawyer got up, made a 5-minute closing argument. And without even the courtesy of taking a recess, she started reading the opinion.
Yeah, and it was clear. It was absolutely
And it was
clear that was the case. And
a half-hour opinion, which couldn't have been written today because she was on the bench today. She had to have written it before anybody testified, before she heard any argument.
oh yeah, and
Her mind was made up before I even showed up. What the hell am I showing up for?
as Gottlieb
And tell me that isn't a violation of due process.
There isn't any due process in that. And as Gottlieb started to make certain arguments, you could see her coaching him to kind of avoid that, because
She probably likes him.
I didn't put that in that authority, that particular authority, in the opinion that I already drafted
This
for
is
this proceeding.
This is a Biden-sponsored lawsuit. How do you miss it? Gottlieb was Hunter Biden's partner. He was the lawyer for Burisma, the crooked Ukrainian company that bribed the Bidens, and that I uncovered. So they have an animus to me that's tremendous. Well, we had a hell of a coincidence that he's the guy coming after me for nothing, right?
It's just to be a hell of a coincidence.
Now they want me to pay legal fees. I thought they didn't pay legal fees.
Well, he's going to need those legal fees. I got to say, I think that there's going
I
to
thought
be
he
some
did it for nothing
uncovering.
He did this for nothing out of the goodness of his heart, not to get even for Hunter Biden, who was his partner, or for Burisma, which was the crooked organized crime company that he represented that I uncovered, or for Wilkie Farr, which is a Biden cabal law firm from top to bottom. This is a disgrace. But the worst of all was her just, I mean, it's like, insulting is too mild a word. But it is insulting. It's like, we're not even going to consider your testimony.
Mm-hmm.
It
was so apparent. It was so apparent.
I had this one figured out before you showed up, jackass.
Yep. And that was funny too, because when your counsel tried to enter some persuasive authority, she's like, oh, no, I don't want to have to go back into the opinion that I already drafted to address your persuasive authority. I'm just going to reject that. And that might be a little too dense for, the average casual viewer, but it was an atrocious, I don't even want to call it a proceeding, to be honest with you. And she grinned when she grinned. And actually, I bet if we go into the J6, if we were in those hearings, she would have probably been smiling if she sent those people to jail. And she almost gets joy out of it. And you could see that, like, her lips were curling up as she was talking about the opportunity.
Yeah, they're strange faces.
Yeah.
Strange faces. And then at the very end, I asked my lawyer to do it. Great lawyer, but he was too gentlemanly to do it. I'm not. I stood up and I said, Judge, did you write that opinion just now?
And she saw the media room.
I did. I said, I'm sorry. I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
We should have to be the fastest typist in the West, right?
Is he being a liar?
Oh,
He's
my
a
God.
damn lie right on the bench.
I've heard more lies than I can actually count coming out of her mouth,
But
honestly.
what she did is just outrageous. I think a judge should be removed who doesn't consider the arguments and writes the opinion before you show up and lies to you.
And basically tears up the Constitution right in front of you, telling you what you can and can't say. I thought this was the United States of America. It returns to it soon.
You saw me do this before I went out to testify, just because I knew she was going to do it. And I wanted to prove to people I know what a crook she is in advance. I wrote the following what do we call that? Tweet now? What do we call this thing on X?
Post on X.
Post on X.
Thank you, Mr. Musk.
So this is 8 hours ago. This is before she displayed that she was a complete phony and had written the opinion yesterday before anybody testified. And therefore had a mind made up and was a completely biased judge. Judge Beryl Howell, the Obama appointee, who was so bloodthirsty that she's very disappointed with the sentences of the more than 1,000 J6 defendants, more of them convicted of misdemeanors than felonies. She is making us wait all day for her inevitable, highly prejudicial, usual biased decision. Like Judge Lyman in New York, whose detailed opinion was reached and written before I finished my last 3 hours of testimony, this decision was already obvious from her earlier opinion and her overall pathological hatred of all things Trump. The hearing is a hypocritical waste of time and a disgusting example of Biden lawfare. Howell and Lyman, if they were not so biased, would recuse themselves. Soon I'll reveal my real feelings about this.
Yeah. Wish we had this kind of predictive skills on the football games. We could make some money.
Yeah, I predicted it. I wonder if she'll surprise me. And then I looked at her face and I said, no.
She telegraphed everything. I'd love to play poker against her, man, because she does not hide it at all. She's grinning at the opportunity to like fulfill their corrupt Democrat agenda.
And she's actually improving and making arguments for the other side.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, she knew what arguments would work because she wrote the opinion already, you know?
Right. Yeah, please argue this because I read it last night.
Because God started to go down a different trail of cases. And it's like, no, Mr. Golub, I think you want to actually argue these cases.
Because I have my opinion.
Oh, yeah, it's already drafted, actually. It's going to save everyone a lot of time. I'm hungry. She actually said that a couple of times. I'm hungry. We're all hungry. She didn't give us a lunch. But
which means she had no time.
We don't get a lunch.
We were supposed to be out before lunch anyway. So
what it means is she had no time to write it today.
Yeah. What did she keep saying? I'm in trial, Mr. Giuliani.
And if she wrote it today, she had to write it this morning before she heard it today.
Yeah. Well, obviously. Or yesterday. I mean, whenever she had time over the weekend, whatever.
Well, she wrote this opinion the day I showed up in court.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Because I was Donald Trump's lawyer.
Or whatever weird Democrat operation funding this whole thing probably has some comms people that put it all together for her. I mean, who knows?
Well, there is. There's a Democrat activist group that's funding this.
Oh, yeah. And a couple of them. I've been looking into it. So
there's a Democratic activist group that is funding this. Originally, Wilkie Farr was doing it pro bono.
Wilkie Farr is an arm of the corrupt Democrats at this point.
How many of their lawyers do they have in court?
They have a team. They have a team, and they actually, I will go ahead and call it out. They had far more lawyers in court today than they let on because a lot of the gallery was filled with these young associates from Wilkie Farr, and
they want to train them. They want to train them to be left-wing corrupt lawyers.
The definition of a swampy law firm, Democrat-controlled law firm.
That's right.
Hunter Biden.
Yeah, and I would consider, using this law firm. I really would. If you have any desire to straighten out the lawfare and the two-tier justice system, you can't be encouraging these people by paying them money.
Oh no, and they're going to have no foot to stand on.
Look what they did to poor Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Lindell didn't do anything compared to what Wilkie Farr has done.
Oh yeah. And I think they are going to start hurting, honestly, because who does, as it gets exposed, these corrupt practices, hey, Biden wins, they're on easy street, right? They've been doing his dirty the whole time.
That's what they were counting on. But I mean, now elections should matter.
Yeah, they went all in on Biden, and that was a big mistake. Now they're going to be exposed for the arm of the Democrat Party that they are, and no one's going to want to hire. Anyone wanting to work in DC isn't going to want to hire them. You're not going to be able to effectively lobby the FCC with a Wilkie Farr attorney, right. Under a Trump administration, or any other of these this federal government they gave us. It's so darn huge, And I don't want
this guy Gottlieb, who was Hunter Biden's partner, raises money for the activist groups that sue many Trump people, not just me. That's their mission in life. It's to soothe Trump people,
Good little scam.
which is
here, John.
actually intended to make it difficult for any Trump people to get a lawyer.
Yeah,
Which
we've
I've-
seen
which
that.
which I've had to deal with. Look, the lawyers I got, or the fourth lawyers I talked to, the first three lawyers here in the District of Columbia told me they would not appear before.
Yep.
Because she's so vicious.
Yep.
And they
That's
and they
clear.
keep her on the bench.
Yeah.
So she can take people's rights away because of their political views. Right here in the nation's capital. And the rest of the court knows it. They all know that she's a bloodthirsty left wing, just loves putting the J6 people in jail. And even talked about putting me in jail.
Smiling all the entire time.
Hoping like hell she can get me in jail. And now she's got a script she's written out that I have to repeat or she'll put me in jail.
What country are we in?
Oh, yeah, if you forgot that. She has a script that I have to repeat or she can hold me in contempt. I could use criminal penalties. Actually, it's unconstitutional, Judge, but keep going. We really want to get you reversed.
Oh, that's gonna, well, and yeah.
Well, we have another day of travel ahead of us.
We do?
Oh, God.
see
Thanks to the useless trip that we made here, just to be told what we knew we were going to be told before we left, because she is a predictable, corrupt commodity.
That's right. So, well, next week will be our last week with Joe Biden in the White House.
Next week.
Next week.
Well, unfortunately, it's a bit of a week and a half, really.
I guess you're right.
It goes
Well,
out on
the
Tuesday.
20th is a Monday. So
Good.
next week's the last week.
Good.
One more Monday with this guy in the office.
And then a
sitting in there.
weekend.
And then, yeah, and actually weekend. So
Gosh almighty.
we'll have to,
Let's pray the world is here.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
A week from Monday. Let's pray the world is still here.
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got in store for us.
Right.
He and the first stepmother looked so upset yesterday. I must say,
Yeah.
I think he was annoyed that Obama was laughing with Trump.
Oh, sure.
Or they were annoyed at Kamala. There was that look back and forth between the
Oh.
first stepmother and Kamala.
Oh, I wish I was there. I would have loved to feel that tension.
Yeah.
Oh, my
There
God.
is between the first stepmother. I bet they don't put out any Christmas stockings for Kamala.
No way.
They don't for Hope either.
Yeah. Navy.
Navy. Is that?
No, Navy, right?
That's okay. Joe doesn't know her name either.
Well, I don't have to know her name. She's
Yeah.
not my granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were closer. You got 4 letters.
I know my granddaughter's name is Grace.
So,
Well, we're going to pray this weekend when you get some time, Saturday or Sunday, whichever is the day you do it. Or you should do it every day, but whatever is the holy day, right? We're going to pray for the people of Israel, who pretty soon are going to have, like they always have had in the past, until we've had this traitor in the White House, they'll have a president who supports them. And the people of Ukraine, who never had to die had Biden not be elected president, wouldn't have happened. You think of the consequences of an election and the consequences of their covering up the hard drive for Gottlieb's friend, Hunter Biden, right?
Yep.
You think of the consequences of that. How about 400,000 Ukrainians dead, 400,000 dead, which never would have happened if Trump had been in office. There isn't the slightest bit of doubt about that. Putin invaded 3 times under Bush, who didn't even shake hands with Trump yesterday, but he let Putin invade, under Prince Obama and under Biden. He missed one. It never would have happened. Just think of that. And it never would have happened if he didn't get all the people killed in Afghanistan. And they would never have died. There are consequences to voting for people for public office. It is not a game. It is not a joke. It's not a CNN, election night entertainment with, Anderson Cooper and Doopy Boopy and Miss Jean Green and whoever the hell they have on. It's deadly serious. People die when we have incompetent people in office. Take a look at Los Angeles. And people live when we have competent people in office. Well, Pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for the people of Iran. I believe they can be liberated in the next 2 to 3 years. I really do. You watch that. I know it always happens. These countries are liberated and we say, oh, we never thought it would happen. It's going to happen. All the elements are there. As you know, we've gone over it many times and we'll do it again in preparation for the new administration. And of course, let's thank God for getting us through, huh? And getting us right to the time when we can not just make our country great again, save our country, huh? Okay. So God bless America.
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to